I'm Sherry.
And I'm Keith with Motorcycle Den. And today we'll be taking you on our trip to Shawnee National Forest in southeastern Illinois.
For the first night, we drove to Bedford, Indiana, stayed at a Super 8. Not a fan of Super 8s myself. The room was okay, semi-clean. The bed was terrible. I don't know, they had like some big foam thing on the mattress. I would not recommend staying there at all.
No, it was definitely a rough hotel, but it was only for one night, so we made the best of it.
And just didn't sleep.
That next morning, Friday morning it was, we got up early, we ate breakfast, and we headed over to Illinois.
See the Garden of the Gods. Beautiful. I mean, breathtakingly beautiful. You don't really expect it to be in Illinois because Illinois getting there was very flat. But once you're there, it's very, very beautiful with the rock formations and just the forest itself. It's really, really breathtaking.
Yeah, the park itself, it was pretty nice. They took pretty good care of it. There was a bathroom in the parking lot. Wasn't the best. It was kind of like a portalette, but type deal. But it worked.
This was the pathway to walk back to see the rock formations. Very, very nice how it was paved. It had the stones and everything set out. It had a lot of... Now, once you're on the rocks, it's open, so you can fall. So if you have small kids, keep them. Or as for me, who is a clumsy person, Keith held on to me because he was afraid I was going to fall. Or he sticks me in between the two rocks there where I cannot fall.
They have a lot of time spent
keeping it nice.
Yeah.
You know, putting the fences up, putting the paved rock out. And you will notice I have a water bottle. There was a sign saying not to take a water bottle, but we had been on the bike. We didn't have the camel pack. I was thirsty. I took it. I left with it. I didn't leave it in the park. But there is a sign saying you're not supposed to. This is one of them. You can see how far. Beautiful day that day. It was really, really pretty. It was mid-70s. Gorgeous view. I mean, the weather really worked well with us.
Yeah, we had a great weekend, that's for sure.
It was windy up there. You can see by my wild hair. Helmet head on top of the wind. If you look to the left, you can see the little people up there. Kind of gives you perspective on how majestic and how massive some of these rocks are, the rock formations. I like how the trees are blended. And it was really neat how the rock would be there and all of a sudden a tree would be growing out of the rock.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine some of the trees that, like Sherry said, they were growing right out of the rock. You wouldn't even think they'd be able to survive, but they definitely do.
It's very, very cool to see.
You know, as Sherry mentioned earlier, this area, just when you see the rest of Illinois, it's so flat and plain, a lot of farmland. But when you get down south here, this section of the forest, it's great. I mean, it's amazing to see it.
That's Camel Rock. See the camel? The camel head and the humps? It was kind of neat to see. And it does look just like a camel.
Once we left there, we head over to a Rimrock Trail. They have a nice picnic area. Decent sized parking lot. It's a neat little area to spend some time.
Wasn't what we expected. Considering that it's called Rim Rock, I thought it would actually kind of be on the rim of the gully there. We did not take the Beaver Trail. We took the Rim Trail. And how you see the trees and everything around us, that's the whole trail. There really wasn't a view. I did like that twisted tree. I thought that was kind of cool. But I mean, it had, you know, it was paved like you can tell. And it was nice. It was a relaxing walk. But with all the trees around, there really was not a view. That was the only view we had.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was definitely, like Sherry said, not what we expected. We were a little disappointed in it. It was a nice, relaxing walk, but a little bit of a disappointment to us.
After being on the bike, it was nice to stretch our legs, to get out and walk a little bit. But
we couldn't get into our cabin until 3, I think it was.
And from Ohio to Illinois, the time changed. So we had to wait again.
So, that's why we walked those 2 trails first, and then we went to our cabin. And the cabin was fantastic.
It's beautiful.
They're called Shawnee Forest Cabins, and it's
right across the street from Garden of the Gods.
Yes, it's a great location, and we highly recommend them.
And it had like the kitchenette there, the couch there laid down, so it's kind of like a futon. You can see out the window the hot tub, which was awesome after being on the bike all day. And this is October, so it was cool. So it was nice to get in that warm hot tub when we came back. Kind of warmed you up a little bit because it was chilly. That in the mornings it was in the low 40s. Saturday and Sunday. Friday was a little warmer, but Saturday and Sunday it was cold in the morning. Yeah,
it was great. We loved it. It'd make you want to think about getting one, that's for sure.
Keith wants to retire there.
Oh, I liked the area. It was nice. And they did have a little electric fireplace there. We didn't use it, but it's there. They pretty much take care of everything for you. They had some wood outside if you wanted to build a fire.
The bed slept great.
Yes.
Especially after the Super 8 bed. This bed was awesome. It had a ceiling fan.
Very comfortable. They have little plugs on each side of the bed that you can, with USB ports that you can plug in your phone or whatever, charge them. There's also regular outlets.
They also had on the right where the little nightstand shelf is, they had a journal there. So you can put in what you liked or what you didn't like about the area. So it was kind of nice to read things. Because then you could be like, oh, this sounds cool. They went here and loved it. You know what I mean? Then it might give you ideas. Or they may say, hey, it was a dud. And then it's not worth really your time to go. But there's our little grill. We didn't use it, though.
Yeah, charcoal grill is there available. You had to supply your own charcoal. So we didn't mess with that. But the place even came with a cook. I tell you, it was great, too.
You brought the cook.
Oh, I did? Yeah. Oh, that was you, wasn't it? Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So that next morning, like Sherry mentioned, the mornings were cool. They were in the 40s, I think.
Low 40s.
Yeah. So we had to bundle up pretty good.
Well, I have a heated jacket, and I went off and left it at home. Because when we left, it was 80 degrees. And I kind of regret doing that. I wasn't cold at all. I mean, we had extra clothes. I was dressed for it. It's just so bulky. So the the heated jacket's really nice underneath my coat. Keeps me nice and toasty. It's like electric blankets. I love my my heated gear.
I guess that's a good reason why you should have a checklist and actually use it. Sometimes it's hard to do that, you're rushing around trying to get out the door, and so we didn't really bother to go over things to make sure we had everything, and we did forget a couple things, but it worked out. We stayed warm for the most part. Later that day or that next?
This is Saturday.
That was the next morning then, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so we would head over to Heron Pond. Is a pretty nice area, and I think it'd be excellent to go in the springtime when there's a lot of water. But you do have
after a good rain.
Yeah, you do have to go back a gravel road about 3/4 of a mile.
That sucked.
Yeah, Sherry was pretty nervous about it, but it was fine.
Parts of it was squished down gravel, and parts of it you felt the bike kind of weeble wobble, and you can see on the tires how white they are from the gravel. But it is pretty back there. I mean, once you get back there, it's beautiful. And, I mean, everything's marked really well. Things are groomed very well. The grass isn't real tall. I expected it to be like major buggy. It wasn't, probably because of fall time. I would guess in the spring you would need to bring bug spray.
Yeah, they definitely recommend bug spray in summertime and probably spring also. You did get to walk along a nice creek, which was pretty scenic. It was enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, it wasn't real crowded in this area. We seen a few people, but for the most part, we had this area to ourselves because most people were leaving when we wound up getting there. So
yeah, it was nice.
And entering into the swamp area, there's a boardwalk, I guess, of some sorts that they build that you get to go back into the center of the swamp. You have to turn around and come back, but
and it'll go up and down according to the water level.
Yeah, it does float, but there was no water back there, so it was all the way down. But there was a little bit of water, but not much.
It was kind of neat though, because then you could see the cypress trees, to where if there was water covering it, you wouldn't be able to see it. So, but you got to see the roots coming down, and they see those on the left of my sunglasses. You can see they call them knees. Knee knobs, I think they were called. And what it is the cypress trees as they're starting to grow up. So it's like those little baby ones. We met this guy along the way.
Yeah, he's got the best view in the whole area.
Yeah, and it wears a bow tie. And a goofy grin.
There was the water that we had, which, well, like I said, wasn't much for this time of year. But,
and it had rained a few days before, so it must have been drier before that. This is as we're leaving again. There's that gravel driveway I did not like.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, if you're used to riding on gravel, you'd be fine with it. I mean, we don't hardly ever get on gravel, and we were fine. Didn't bother us one bit.
It bothered me.
Oh,
I
well,
didn't like it.
Didn't bother me. That's okay.
I was ready to walk. There it's kind of squished down, so that wasn't bad. But other parts of it, you could feel it. Then we had to go see Superman.
Yeah, Metropolis.
Where else can you go to a town that has Superman that's 15 foot tall?
Now, let me tell you, they promote Superman everywhere in this town.
They love him. If you go in Hardee's, it's in there.
Yeah.
This is the Super Museum and the Superman store. So they have different things, museum type stuff of Superman, but also stuff to sell. And this is right by the statue. It's right there.
Yeah.
And if you look, see the phone booth?
Yeah, there's another. We keep running these phone booths, and usually you don't see any anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, Superman changes in his phone booth.
Now, we didn't go into the museum or store, but...
We had other things on the agenda that day. That's Big John.
Yeah, we're heading over to Fort Masek, and we seen this statue. That's the second one we seen like this. One of them was in... I don't know if it was in Indiana or the very eastern part of Illinois. We seen one.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Fort Masek. Neat little park. I mean, we only spent maybe 15, 20 minutes there, but it's worth stopping and seeing, especially if you like
history.
Yeah.
It's right along there's the Ohio River. It's right on the river, and I mean, it's just kind of a cool thing, to see. You don't really see that. They kept it. I mean, you can see how immaculate it was. And that's just a cool walkway.
After that, we head over to Cave and Rock. Now, this town has a big population, as you can see. And the park is right at, I guess, on the eastern edge of the city. And it's right along the Ohio River.
And you can take a ferry there into Kentucky.
Into Paducah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can take the ferry over if you want to go into Paducah. A lady was telling us Paducah has flood walls, have murals on them. And we didn't go, but she said they were really nice. This is the entrance to Cave and Rock. It was kind of neat. You walk down these steps, and it's like right there. And legend has it that years ago, people that was running from the law would go in there and hide. And I don't know. I wonder if they met any animals or met other bandits. I don't know.
Probably robbed ships coming down the river or something.
Yeah. Pirates on the Ohio. And that's going back into it a little bit.
Yeah, it was a neat little cave. Didn't go back in there very far, but it was
something different.
Yeah,
neat.
Something neat we're seeing. The whole area down there is pretty neat. There's a lot of cliffs and ledges and stuff. So
that I like. We were there like right as you could tell, sunset was going down. So, but there you can kind of tell. I mean, it's literally like right there on the river.
And
you can walk.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, 1/8 of a mile or something. And
there's all them steps.
Yeah, there's the steps that we had to go back up.
The next morning we go to leave, and somebody was trying to take the bike apparently.
Yeah, we seen these footprints. I don't know if it was a raccoon or cat or what, but it was on the front fender and side case.
And it was covered, had a half cover on it.
Yeah, so it looked like he was trying to get up underneath there maybe. He didn't scratch anything, but definitely was interested in the bike.
Probably because it was cold.
We, after we left Sunday morning, we started heading back home. Took 62 through Indiana.
Nice road.
Beautiful, scenic road. It's definitely worth taking if you've never been on it.
And there's lots to look at, with the rocks and just the trees. It's kind of neat how there's a lot of roads that the trees canopy the road. And it's just really pretty. There's a little different view.
Yeah, we stopped for lunch in Leavenworth, Indiana at the
Overlook Restaurant.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth a stop. We loved the food. And
it's all home cooked. Oh, it's well worth it. If you call an hour before, we stopped in Santa Claus, Indiana, called ahead in an hour. Took us about 15 minutes to get there. But then you can make a reservation. They only make it for an hour out. But sometimes there is a wait.
Yeah, because they're busy. They do a lot of business.
Yeah. This is from our table.
Yeah.
Your view. It was beautiful.
Yeah, great view. And
see the bend.
The way they set that restaurant up, you have pretty much a great view no matter where you're sitting.
We sat on the right last time, and the sun kind of beat on you a little bit. But you can sit outside, too. That you can see the rocking chairs and picnic tables.
Yeah, it gives you a great panoramic view of the Ohio River. Tell you, it's even if you don't eat there, it's worth stopping just to see it.
Guess that's getting ready to leave. They were leaving.
As Sherry mentioned, this road, I can't tell you enough how much I recommend 62. It's definitely worth taking on the bike.
It has some curves, but it's not overwhelming to where you're exhausted by the time you drive an hour.
Yeah, we had a wonderful trip. We went around 900 miles total.
In about 2.5 days.
Yeah, 2.5 days. Great weather. And we loved it. There's a little bit that we did not get to see. Maybe we'll get to go back another time. And we want to thank you guys for coming along.
And visit us. You can subscribe to Motorcycle Den. So like us, that way next trip we have, you'll know all about it first.
Thanks again.